the reason?
Yeah, the heat's on.
Guys, budget, process policy.
Ordinance.
That's to be signed as well. And just to let you know that this appropriation.
You doing all right?
is not reconciled or signed.
Hanging in there.
And this tonight. I just ran that one tonight. 11:16. What are you looking at? What?
Go home early. Well, then we just have to do it again. Get it over with. Mine's next week, that's why.
I'll tell you why. But hey, you know how it goes. Out on the phone. Let's go.
Hey there.
I put both of these in front of you guys. This is the, you have all the documentation on the rezone. We just didn't really have an ordinance like it's supposed to be. And this you have in your packet already. I just created a clean copy. So it's what you looked at. I just deleted the word finance. That was. Review by legal? No, it doesn't need to be voted on again. I just saw that it was policy, budget policy update to resolution. And I wasn't entirely sure. Yeah, I know, forgive me.
No problem. I'll ask.
Jewel is.
Dave.
So I'm
Dave.
like.
How are you? I'm fine.
I'll look at them someday.
I know.
I promise.
I know. You got 78 of them.
Christmas.
2 of them you don't have to look at.
It's not that it's Christmas, it's that we're down 2 attorneys in my section. So my already full calendar has just kind of exploded.
I get it. I'm gonna bring up a proposal for tonight because
A what?
another policy for tonight, but I have not talked to. It's gonna be kind of your help
So you're bringing it up to what?
to basically get you guys to decide how we need to approach this because I'm sure Ordy's gonna just talk to you later about it.
I just want you to talk to me about it later.
Okay.
Does it fall under the policies that they've already approved that I review?
Yes or no?
It's a hybrid?
What it is I have a policy in there for our investigators for
Okay.
carrying a weapon while on duty
Yes?
while they're under investigation for fires.
Okay.
We need special deputy powers
Yeah, you
for
can't just do
those, right? But the downfall is with state statute of can't claim overtime for these people. We need a policy for like a special deputy type deal. Who needs to write that? Police department, you, me, commissioners? That's the $1 million question. I don't know. No. Probably police commissioner.
Oh, merit. Yeah, I don't know. But once my email activates, I'll send myself an email to remind actually, you can email me.
I can't.
But yeah, no, don't bring that up tonight. Just talk with me about it. They've already authorized you to talk with me to update policies.
Yeah.
And if I don't, if police does it, that's still me. You do it, that's me. If it's the merit, if I look at it and go, no, really, the merit commissioner should be doing it, we'll kick it to whoever their attorney is. But I don't know how it could be the merit commissioner. I don't know.
Kevin and I just didn't know.
I don't know.
So we were just, we figured it was probably going to be you, so we thought, well, we ask and try to figure it out.
Greg, how you doing?
Yeah, if you could just email me,
Because
that would be cool. Because if it's not in an email,
I know you forget.
it goes in and out.
I'm the same way. You good? Good.
Here it is.
Hang on.
Allowance.
Chief Julian?
You almost sound like it's like being called to the principal's office. Hi.
Yes, sir.
Want that for somebody else.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I do know. There's no way, unless you got a key about that all.
I'm sorry. Reading about mandatory vaccination? Oh, no, my firm. Oh, okay. I don't.
You did? Oh, no. They didn't email me money. I usually review them. As far as. Okay, what's for contracts? That's not.
It wasn't erased. There's only 500 officers in the subcommittee.
Yeah. That's what's on there.
You're requesting all that has not been advertised. Can I just introduction? Can I just first read the salary ordinance? We still need 2 weeks. Yes. Yes. Thank you. I thought tonight was your approval.
No.
Yes, changes can always be made. Take care of what I highlighted that. Because tonight's not even a public hearing on the salary ordinance, it's just the first reading. Okay. I love playing catch up.
Technology, Tom, you gotta love it. I just have noticed we have heard that for a long time. That phase one is done. This guy in charge. Yeah, we'll let you know.
your name on it? Have your name on it?
Tom, can you hear us?
Mark, Mark.
Probably not.
It does have your name on it. Oh, yeah, right here.
Hang on, Tom. Who's on? RN's not on still. Tom, can you try your connection again, please?
Can you hear me now, Dustin?
I think everybody in a 5-mile radius can hear you.
Okay, that's what I wanted to hear.
It is yours, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize. I'm not going to be able to be live with you this evening. I would like to, at this time, turn the chair over to Vice President Justin Stanley, to chair this evening's meeting.
Thank you, Tom. If we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a short invocation by Chief Dalton. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Will you bow your heads, please? Dear Lord, we ask that you watch over our council tonight, give them the blessing and the knowledge to make the decisions for our town and our citizens. We also ask that you watch over those that served 80 years ago and gave their ultimate sacrifice. In your name, amen.
Thank you. This meeting was previously called to order. Our next agenda item is the approval of minutes from our November 16th meeting. Do I have a motion to approve, amend, or deny?
Motion to approve November 16th meeting.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion and second. All in favor? We will have to do a roll call because of our virtual presence tonight. So Jeff Cook, how do you vote?
Aye.
Shane?
Aye.
Greg? Aye. Tom?
Aye.
And I will be aye as well. The motion passes 5-0. Under unfinished business, town manager discussion. Through various connections and reaching out, I have present a member that would like to discuss what a town manager does, the roles, what they can offer, and things of that nature. So, Dax, you're up. Front and
Assuming
center.
correctly,
Front and center, sir.
Mr. Chair, members of the council, thanks for having me. My name is Dax Norton. I work for MS Consultants, and we have a program that really I created providing town operations, strategic, administrative strategic direction services to towns such as yourselves. Really what the program is really geared towards is preparing for full-time town management for those places that don't have it, or acting as that role, not town manager. I don't do a lot of staff work. I don't even do any firing, but acting as that person who watches over the daily tasks from afar for the council as a consultant to the council, liaison to the council for operational services. I do have propaganda. I never know if somebody wants it in the day and age of COVID. I'll leave it with you tonight. Take it or leave it. So really what the role does is I was a town manager for 6 years, 5 and 3/4 years, going on 30. I was town manager for the fastest growing community in the state, town of Whitestown, from 2013 to 2019. Before that, I was an economic development director in Boone County. And don't let your economic development director here say anything bad about me. Hey, but that's a field I've been in as well, and kind of combined the two and created this program. So what does it do? Whatever you would like it to do. We have 5 communities right now, really, that we focus on. I'm also the director of, I have a long title. I am the director of funding, economic development, and municipal strategy for MS Consultants. So I also do grant funding. I don't do administration, but I do grant funding. Have had some pretty good wins in the last couple of months for communities in Indiana, Ohio, North Carolina. I have municipal operations community in those 3 states as well. Indiana's main focus right now is the town of Nashville, Thorntown. We've done work in Jamestown. We've done work in Montpelier, to name a few. So it's really geared towards what you would need. So the role of town manager is to take the direction of the council, help enforce the rules that you make, obviously watch the day-to-day activities of the town based on your guidance. And a lot of times what happens is there's not a 5-year administrative plan in place. I know you're planned to death. I know that we do death by planning, but a lot of times there's not that strategic direction, 5-year strategic administrative plan in place that can help management and the council work together to guide you to a direction that you want to go. And really the goal is what? To provide efficient services to the residents. That's really the main goal of government. And who does that? What's your widget? You spend taxpayers' dollars on what? You spend it on people. People are your widget. That's what you give to the public. People need guidance. People need coaching. People need resources. That's really what this program will do for you. I don't think one contract is the same in the communities that we do this for. Not one. It's either heavy towards economic development. You wouldn't need that here because you have an expert in the room. It's either heavy towards strategic direction, which is really a coach to councils. It's either heavy in the policy direction of creating good policy, going through your ordinances, making sure that it's forward thinking, or it's heavy on the operational side of organizing departments, department leaders, and utilities especially. I have kind of become the de facto leader of the Nashville Municipal Utilities from afar. It's really what I call it's a professionalization of local government, and it's a professionalization of those departments if it needs it. So any contract I do, not one of them's the same. It's just like a fingerprint. It depends on what really the community's looking for to get them to where they need to be. If the goal is to eventually get a town manager in place, make sure that that 5-year strategic administrative plan is the key element of what we do for you all. So that's in a nutshell. I know your agenda's long. This is pretty simple. You don't have a town manager. Are you looking for one? Some things need to be in place prior to that person coming in and being successful. You don't want to have somebody come in and not have a guidance or a direction. And the council, you all are, you have day jobs. And so you want to be able to not have to be here all the time. And that's where those guides and those strategic directions come into play.
So how much does a town manager make full-time? I've heard various numbers.
Well, I'll tell you my final salary just because it's public. It was $112,000 was my final salary at Town of Whitestown. I started in the 80s and went there as the growth happened. I would say I don't know the average anymore. I think the average in the metro, we're in the metro, it's about 105. I know that there are others that make 130, 140. I think Speedway's town manager Grant just got hired on in the 135, 140 range. You see them go down as far as into the 60s. It's very rare that you get one that would stay somewhere in the 50s and 60s. It's going to be a stepping stone. But that's typically in the metro area. Now, if you get to northern Indiana, very well-paid town management up there. For some reason, north of Kokomo, they've all got town managers, and they're all very well-paid. I'm not sure what's happening up there, other than maybe they have to entice people up to the cold and snow. I don't know. Could be. But I'd say 100,000, 90 to 110 is probably a good starting point in the metro.
What is a firm like yours? I know that you have, every contract's different. Ballpark it. If we say we want a little of this, a little of that, a little more guidance, things like that. What?
Our highest is 90. You wouldn't do that because that's really being the $90,000 contract we have with the community is for our firm through me to be the executive director of a kind of a community development organization. It's a different animal. The average 40. Nashville, I'll tell you, Nashville, Indiana, town of 1,000, obviously tourist mecca for the state. Their contract's $39,900. So average is Thorntown's contract's $36,000. Runs between 36 and 45 is typical, depending on. And I'll tell you what that does is our contracts are I'm on site 1 day a week, but I'm never on site 1 day a week.
Yeah.
I've been in Thorntown 2 days a week now, this week already. But accessible 24/7, and that's scary, I know. I personally have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 email accounts because 4 of those are municipal email accounts. So and I've got my personal email account and then my MS Consultants email account. Pay attention to those every day. Managing 3 websites at the moment, just updates, content management. There are people helping me. I'm not alone in the firm. So, but that's a typical price range for the contract.
Jeff, do you have any, I know that was short and sweet, which you're happy about, but
No, I don't have any questions.
Councilman Williams?
Can you explain the structure of the management structure, I guess you would say? Do the department heads report to you and you report to us? Does it change anything with that?
No. This program is really to be the council's consultant as you move towards handing it over to a full-time manager. If you'd like the contract to be different and have some guidance of department heads, you can do that. I would urge you not to do that, although it's kind of morphed into that in one community that I take care of. I'm now starting to have more interaction on a day-to-day basis just as a resource provider to the department leaders, not as necessarily a overseer of those particular department leaders, other than to give counsel to the council, advice to the council of how things could potentially be run a little better.
So you in this interim role, let's say, for discussion purposes, you would not be a liaison for the public. The public would not contact you with questions or any of that sort of thing. You would just be a consultant for us. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, I can be if you'd like me to be. I do that sometimes in some communities, but no, I would not be the person answering the Facebook messages unless you all decide that's what you'd want to be. I see this. I had a full head of hair before I started this town management stuff. But if you want me to do social media, sure can. But at the moment, it's really a let's call it an intimate relationship with the council to guide you to help advise on moving towards a direction of having town management, because that's a tough one. I was Whitestown's second town manager ever in its 150 years. So I understand how tough it is to transition away from what you're doing now and into a town management type role. So, and obviously, public safety, the police department doesn't answer to a town manager, so that's a moot point. They don't need to anyway because they have a completely separate set of issues to have to deal with, and that's why you have good chiefs. So.
Beth, do you have any insight on what Indiana code says regarding what a town manager, ultimately what a town manager does? Or is that, can you get that to me, or if you don't know offhand?
I don't know offhand. I've never been part of the hiring of a town manager. I represent municipalities that have town managers, but never been part of the hiring process. But I can certainly find the code statute for you.
I'll give you a quick summary. That you appointed by the council, works on behalf of the council to enforce rules that you put in place, ordinances, and to manage the day-to-day operations of the government as you've given guidance to the council. That's a major role. Another role is budgeting. Obviously, the clerk treasurer's office is ultimately in charge of watching those finances. The town manager's role is to work with everybody to get budgeting done, lead the department leaders, hire and fire. The town manager has hiring and firing.
So there's an HR component to what they do?
A town manager can hire and fire so long as the council has given that person the permission to do so, any department leader below them. Exempt employee, obviously. It's pretty much as simple as that. No, obviously no veto power. No, from a mayoral perspective, there's no legislative function of the town manager's office. It's more a COO, I've heard, or a COA. So consider the town manager, from a state statute perspective, the chief administrative officer, and CAO, the chief administrative officer, for administering the government as you all, as the five of you, see as necessary to administer it. So.
Would you like me to email you the statute?
Sure,
There's
unless the
9
others want you to.
I can email the entire council. Several are what you said, but there are 9 categories. I doubt you want me to sit here and read those out loud.
Right.
But I'll email them to you.
Surprised I can't recite that statute in my sleep, but.
That's all I have for now.
Greg?
What would be the difference between a mayor and a town manager?
So mayor, obviously elected by the people, autonomous office, has veto power over you all.
Forward me that email.
Appoints Board of Works, which is a very important board. Appoints, boards and commissions. Like I said, town manager has no legislative authority, so therefore no appointments, no vetoes, not elected by the public, can be fired as fast as he or she is hired, which a lot of towns like to stay town management for that reason. Because it's hard to fire your mayor. Okay? So that would be some of the main differences.
Dax, you have propaganda for the
I
council?
do have propaganda.
Thank you. Can I get 2 of those? Thanks. While you're passing that out, Tom, do you have anything for Mr. Norton?
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
No, it was just kind of a bad connection. I thought at one point in time he said that that manager's made over $100,000, and I know that's.
He actually said up to 140, just not necessarily here.
Now he's fixing himself up.
And
I appreciate the information.
I can say
I
that.
appreciate the information.
Did you have to get smelling salts there? Or?
Tom, I said that because you're not here to backhand me, so.
I appreciate the information. It was very enlightening. I thank you.
Council members, we can take this information back. We can keep it on the next agenda, table it to the next agenda. Is there any interest in now to do any further research?
I would like to maybe move it to after the first of the year, if all possible.
So in two meetings?
Please.
3 meetings.
Okay.
And I'll give you a very nice proposal at that point. It includes a contract for you to see if you'd like to see one.
Tom, is that in the form of a motion?
Legal counsel, can I make a motion?
Yes.
And you said move it 3 meetings?
That's what I thought you said, sir.
Is your first,
Yes, let's move it to the second meeting in January.
yeah, because your first meeting is just reorganization, isn't it, in January? Do you do business ever, your first meeting in January?
Yes.
So it'd have to be 3 meetings.
I have a motion on the floor to table this for 3 meetings. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. We'll do a roll call vote. Councilmember Cook?
Aye.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Sweeney?
Aye.
Councilmember Worthen?
Aye.
And I will be aye as well. Dax, thank you for coming. Does anybody from the public have any questions while he's here and not being paid by the hour?
It's not by the hour, it's a lump sum contract, so you can use and abuse me at that point. Just like an economic development director. See?
We're trying to get money from him to, you know.
Gotcha.
He's got a hat back there passing around.
Thank you very much.
All right,
Appreciate
thank you.
it.
Thank you,
Good to
Dax.
meet you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is the comprehensive plan informational purposes. I believe that's,
This was scheduled and we had it scheduled as a joint meeting or tried to and didn't get that accomplished. So it'll be the comprehensive plan folks or the engineering company would rather come when we can have all the boards available. So we would just need to, they're not going to be here tonight. So if you want, she says to table it, so.
tabling it for 3 meetings as well.
Yeah, that'd be the second meeting in January, correct? Yeah, that'd be fine with me.
Is that in the form of a motion?
Sure, I'll make the motion to table it
Shane?
until the second meeting in January.
I have a motion on the floor to table the comprehensive plan informational purposes until the second meeting in January, which is 3 meetings from now. Do I have a second? Second. I have a motion and a second. Jeff Cook, how do you vote?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Sweeney?
Aye.
Mr. Worthen?
Aye.
And I will be aye as well. Motion is passed as 5-0 to table till the second meeting in January. Next on the agenda is Fire Department disciplinary discussion. Is that you?
Sure, I'll take over this. So it was proposed to do the disciplinary hearing initially tomorrow. That ultimately did not work for all parties involved. I have spoken with counsel for the chief and the firefighter that is the subject of the disciplinary action. The proposed dates right now are either December 17th, which is a Friday, or December 21st, which is a Tuesday, if you would like to accomplish it by the end of the year. That is one item to discuss. Another item to discuss is this council has the authority to convert his suspended status from paid to unpaid, if it would so choose. So there's 2 items that need to be discussed.
What were the dates again? The 21st
The
and
17th,
17th?
which is a Friday, and the 21st. Do you guys have a meeting is that a meeting? Okay. So you have a meeting already that night. I don't know if you would want to meet before or after, since you're already organized, but both have confirmed that they are available. I should say all 3, the attorney, the chief, and firefighter.
Could I ask a procedural question? What if we schedule this and I don't know what you call this person, the petitioner or whatever, does not, how many times can they reschedule, I guess is what I'm saying. How many times can we keep moving this? Is there no statutory requirement as to when this has to be done?
And it has to be an agreement. The continuance has to be done in an agreement.
Okay.
So technically, the council could have denied his request to continue and just had the hearing tomorrow. Normally you don't see that done for purposes of due process. You just want to ensure that he has his day.
Right.
But I have documented from him in an email that he's available on that day.
Okay.
So if something comes up between now and then, he might want to consider rescheduling that.
So the first question is, does the council want to meet on Friday the 17th or before our meeting on the 21st? Throw it out.
I would prefer the meeting, before the meeting on the 21st. That's just my preference.
Does before the meeting work for you, Councilmember Cook?
That works for me. My only concern is allotting enough time, to go on. I mean, this could go on for hours, and we don't want to suspend that hearing to go into a regular meeting unless we schedule it early in the afternoon, which I believe Tom would have to close his business, which I'm not in favor of. So,
What works best for you? Right now, Councilmember Williams said that before the regular scheduled meeting on the 21st probably works the best, but Councilmember Cook has concerns being that you would have to close your shop early to allow for enough time. You have a
Nope, I am perfectly good with closing. Let's do it ample time prior to our meeting.
yeah.
So I don't know if you want to do 2 o'clock on the 21st, but anytime after noon on the 21st would be fine.
Tom, you said 2 o'clock. That would allow.
afternoon.
Anytime afternoon, I believe.
Do you-
Tom, did you say anytime afternoon?
Yes, anytime afternoon on the 21st.
2, 3, 2.
Later
Your meeting's at 6:30.
possible for me.
You might want to have a dinner break.
3.
You said 3? Okay.
I would err on the side of caution of,
Is that enough time?
I can't technically speak to that because I don't know the number of witnesses that are involved. I represent this board and not the chief or the firefighter, so I don't know how many people they're intending to call. But in my experience in these, they're not a quick process. So I would just encourage you to consider, if at all possible, to allot more time.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to be enough time.
Than might
2?
be necessary.
2, that allows,
That's 4.5 hours. That seems like a decent amount of time, pending you start on time.
alrighty, right now, 2 PM on the 21st. I'll entertain a motion to accept that time.
Move to schedule this meeting, disciplinary meeting, the 21st at 2 PM.
A motion on the floor, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Jeff Cook, how do you vote?
Aye.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Sweeney?
Aye.
Can you hear?
Councilmember Worthen?
Aye.
And I will be aye as well. That meeting is scheduled 2 PM on the 21st. Next is the question of,
There's still a matter pending with this. Do you want to convert his status from paid to unpaid?
yep, that was the second question. Do we want to keep his current status or move it to unpaid?
I do have one question regarding pay for the legal. If he is on administrative leave on his 24-hour shift, the town's paying him, would that person be allowed to work another job and draw a salary from that job while on administrative leave being paid from our town?
I'm not sure that I'm following you.
Okay.
I'm
He's on
sorry.
administrative leave, so on that 24-hour shift, he's just not reporting to work, but
He's
we're,
actually not on administrative leave. Technically, he's suspended. Once
With
the-
pay.
He's suspended with pay right now. Once the investigation is complete and
Sure.
the disciplinary is alleged, he's no longer.
okay, suspended with pay, he's getting paid for that 24-hour period. Is that person allowed to work another job and draw an income from that job while getting paid for his 24 hours here, is the question.
Yes, if he has other employment, he could continue to be paid for that. It's not like FMLA.
It's not like a ghost employment.
No,
Okay,
or
that was
it's
a
not,
que-
he's not on
a question.
disability leave or anything
Okay.
like that, no. And it's important to note that if you vote on this to suspend pay, he is still entitled to the benefits that he's receiving. You can't suspend insurance.
Any other questions or any motions from the floor to change his status to unpaid?
I make a motion, we remove the suspended with pay to suspended without pay effective today.
I have a motion on the floor to suspend or move to suspension without pay effective today. Do I have a second? Second. I have a motion and a second. Councilmember Cook?
Aye.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Sweeney? Aye. Councilmember Worthen?
Aye.
And I will be aye as well. 5-0 on moving to suspension without pay, effective today. Under new business, is that all for that?
That's all, thank you.
Realty Wealth and New Horizon Community Development, Mike Dellinger.
Council members, this evening I'd like to introduce to you Brian Snyder, who's a longtime friend of mine here in Mooresville. Brian is an entrepreneur in the side of residential housing development, and he has been looking at Mooresville with me for the last few years on the issue of what can we do to provide housing in our community that meets the needs of our industrial base and our service sector. So without me taking up any more time, I'd like for Brian to introduce his team and tell you a little bit about the perspective that they'd like to bring to Mooresville and see if maybe there's an opportunity for us to create a partnership that will help bring the type of housing that our industrial base seeks. So gentlemen, I'll leave it to you.
Sure, thank you. It's Brian, nice to meet you. Thanks for having us here this evening. We wanted to discuss this based on the development side, working with other economic development corporations and communities around the state of Indiana, so this just isn't new or a first. We fully understand what goes on with communities to do things the smart way, the right way, the best way, doing it in the most strength, but also to grow a community in the right passion as well as the right financial side with it. Working with two great partners, Scott Adams, Clint Wetherell, partners of mine for what we've done in other communities. We've grown the city of Elwood significantly through that. We're up in New Haven, Indiana right now. We're working in several other communities, and then me being good friends with Mr. Dellinger for many years and talking about this community. We love this area. We love what's going on. We know what could be here, and we also want to be able to solve what you guys and women in our community to solve those things. So I'm going to let Clint talk a little bit about his side, and then I'll let Scott, and then we'll finish here.
Well, Scott and I, we own Realty Wealth Advisors in Zuluscape and Fishers. And Realty Wealth Advisors is the real estate brokerage arm of our business that also does development. Zuluscape is the property management arm. We have about 1,200 doors under our management that we have all over central Indiana. I'm originally from near Evansville, Indiana. We also have about 120-ish down there. Yeah. Ish. But anyhow, this whole process working with some smaller communities kind of happened by accident in my hometown in southern Indiana. I kind of had a passion project down there. My dad was a small town attorney. I noticed a severe housing need in the small town, and I went to a city council meeting like this and said that if there was any synergy, we would be all ears. We worked with them on a lot on their Main Street, and we built a building on Main Street, which should be on the left side of your folder, which is a 33,000 square foot building that has commercial on the ground floor and then 12 apartments above it. That kind of spawned off into several other developments, and working with Brian and several other things, we kind of had this idea to talk to some other municipalities. We've had some success in working through things. The city of Elwood has been transformed by a lot of what Brian started, and we kind of helped facilitate with 144 apartments that you can see also on the left side of your folder. How many acre lot, Brian?
It's a 5.5 acre lot.
5.5 acre lot.
We put in a military park in addition to what we put in.
The military park's beautiful.
Multifamily.
But then these are the buildings that you could see that are going in downtown Elwood. We've helped them with some other things on their Main Street area. That kind of led us into the city of New Haven. Why don't you talk a little bit about that? You're
Sure.
a little bit more involved.
So, I'm going to go over New Haven a little bit, but just to circle back and in general, you know, we really pride ourselves on working with a city on what they need, rather than bringing our ideas, you know, to them and forcing a square peg into a round hole. We adapt really well to work with what the communities need, and I think that's what's allowed so much of our success. So first we find out really what's needed, what type of product. We specialize obviously in residential commercial space. We've been in that space for over 40 years combined. We have a large company with, you know, thousands of doors under management, a lot of development experience. But our key is working with each community to see what they need. And our little niche within that is really focused on kind of the higher end of workforce. And from our understanding, we think that might be a need that you all would have that we could probably fit. And again, we're not trying to force any of our ideas down your throat. That's just kind of where we see that there might be a fit, but we're open to all ideas. So like in New Haven, Indiana, we've got an 18-acre parcel. So they needed a mix. They have a new community center and pool and splash pad.
It's on the left side.
It's on the left side.
That right there.
And it's the lot right next door. You can see kind of where the construction has begun on that splash pad. And you'll see the site plan that we've done through engineering. And to make this, they needed a fairly dense filling on this property. But we don't want to build army barracks. You know, we've seen people come in and do that. And so, you know, we're able to put out a product that really does feel like, you know, townhomes for their particular, you know, type of property. So, you know, we really pride ourselves on putting a product out that fits a workforce or a need, but we scratch that higher end to make sure that that community also can have pride in what they do. So that's the New Haven project right now. We have multiple other projects going, and when we build a project, we stay on site. So our business core is at its core as a property management company at the end of the day. Because all of these projects, they never leave home for us. You know, we're there permanently. Those are our babies. And so we're on site. We want to be a part of these communities. Like Clint said, in his hometown, that's where we really got this start on the more redevelopment side, working with towns. And so at its core, our pride is about being a part of any community that we go into and staying there and being there, hiring there, and just being a part of it. And we're both, my grandfather was the first milkman in my hometown. And you know, we're both Indiana boys at heart. We really enjoy this little niche of these size communities and being a part of it. The truth is, it's the most fun we've had in our careers. So we just wanted to put it in mind as you guys have growth and workforce need for residential.
We'd be all ears to talk to you about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I know it's a little early. We don't have a parcel in mind, but if you're looking at rezoning anything, keep us in mind. You know,
We've had that discussions with Mike and trying to fit what was best in regards to that. And then the number of years where we've worked knowing what the workforce drawing for the industrial could be, and then making sure the right housing would fit what that is, you know, because we know trying to short the drives, but also build the best for the community that fits what we're talking about here. So
Yeah, we talked with Mike about his, he's very, very bullish on making sure that those drives are short for that industrial growth that you guys have.
We've already done the market study stuff, so
yeah, we
know.
We believe this is a very fantastic market that would fit what we could be a part of.
Because we,
You all the construction managers too, or project management?
we have, because we have partners on the construction side that's done that, so, but we're open table to make sure and from a cost perspective, we make sure we manage the budgetary thing in the most conservative way that you possibly can, so.
It's a little bit different on the smaller projects than it is the bigger projects. We kind of create some different partnerships on like the New Haven's large, but like on the Rockport one there with the Main Street, that 32,000 square foot building, we manage that project.
So we, in-house,
So
in-house, we have construction managers, we have a whole construction division, and we have a very large maintenance company, for the ongoing management. So we can do the build in-house on certain size projects. Outside of that, we feel like leveraging with our past partners. It's the same partner on our builds every time. Leveraging with what they have has been really important.
Well, we love working with communities, and there's always a way to meet in the middle, because we know, it's life, there's objections with everything, there's an idea, a way to do it, but that's how our company will work to meet in the middle to make things work the best way. So this just isn't a forced development, hey, we want to go make a bunch of money, blah, blah, we don't care. That's not how we do this, so. I can have the mayor talk to you from Elwood, can do that, and we can have the mayor from New Haven tell you that. So we've got a good, strong partnership backing. We have a good trust relationship. We have smart guys on our team working with great people like Mike, who knows and understands the business and that part. So we really appreciate this evening for having the opportunity to be introduced to you, and we'd like to take some next steps with you.
Appreciate it. Any questions?
I have none.
Mr. Williams?
On these, I don't know if the public can see these or not, probably not, but these were the ones that you said have kind of a townhouse feel, is that? So, are you looking at building any of these here, or?
Yes.
Doesn't really matter to you?
We would look at each site to see what fits. Now,
they could go from 1 acre to 100.
So what's
Okay.
interesting about that particular product is we can build that, like Clint said, from a very small parcel to a very large parcel. And
You just keep adding units?
We do.
Or,
And we have some 8-plexes, like in New Haven, we're able to build that into an 8-plex format. So that's a little longer. The city wanted longer units that look over to their pool.
Which that 8-plex
Yeah, there.
format is that picture in your packet, is the 8-plex. But it's a combination of
Is it this
4.
one?
Correct,
Yep.
yes, sir.
But that design feature can also be done in a 4-plex area or a 6-plex to make it fit the way you would want it to versus having a full 8-plex building. You understand
Or
what I'm saying?
16.
Yeah.
Right.
So this building's 4 stories?
Yes.
Right. And then we
The town of New Haven requested to have some of the longer units that are along this park here because they wanted the balconies to face their new park. That was something that we worked with the town of New Haven on. That was not in our initial plan.
And-
It's something that they requested.
We've done quite a few projects besides what's in front of you. So for example, in Elwood, another project we're working on, it's 8 duplexes because it's a small lot. So, we're able to customize, the needs to fit too. So,
So these are about 1,500 square feet
they are,
Yep.
exactly.
Yeah.
with a 1-car garage
Right.
in the back?
No, 2-car.
2-car.
2-car, okay. So 2-car each unit?
Yes.
So the cost per unit on something like that, depending on the exterior finishes and the interior finishes, we're able to come in at about $140,000 per unit, to build them. So, and that keeps going up.
Per
obviously.
unit or per side?
Per unit.
So those 4-plexes, it would be, 4 times 100.
It's a little higher end, finish.
But that's marble. In New Haven, we're using marble countertops, a lot of stone veneer on the front.
Yeah. That's all I had for now. I just was
All right.
curious
No,
about that
questions?
particular style.
Sure.
Councilmember Sweeney? Councilmember Worthen, do you have any questions for the gentleman that is in front of, us, not you?
Yep. Thank you very much. It was very informational, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Appreciate it. We'll be in touch. Thanks.
Thanks, Mike.
I just want to point out one thing to you, too.
No, it's
November,
not your turn.
Morgan County's unemployment rate is down to 2.0%. So we have 2% unemployment rate in our labor force that's participating now, which means we need more workers, we need more housing. So thank you all for your time this evening.
I was waiting for you to say mixed use, just to tie a nice bow on it, but
You have to stay the rest of the meeting. Oh, are you? Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Thanks, gentlemen.
next on the agenda is the cybersecurity discussion. Not sure who put this one, Diane?
Yes, I put that in the council packet. The Indiana lawmakers recently passed a legislation called HEA 1169 that will increase the amount of information sharing regarding cyber attacks and other threats across the state agencies and local governments. This new law will require the public sector entities to report ransomware and software vulnerability. So what we need to do tonight is wrap our hands around first getting an ordinance to where we would note the primary and secondary contact with the Indiana Office of Technology. So we're required now, if there is any kind of incident, we have to share that with the state. And the first step would be, per my conversation with Attorney Lee, is to get an ordinance created to say our primary contact would be our IT service provider. Second primary contact would probably be your clerk treasurer. And so that's where we're at tonight. I just wanted to make sure that the entire council understands the importance of this. And what I'd like to do later, after we have that ordinance drafted, is to invite Steve Oshman in to kind of educate us on what is cyber attack, what is ransomware, because some people, they don't know. So Steve is planning on coming in and doing a PowerPoint presentation to educate everyone on that. And also, I had spoke with Mayfield Insurance. I think Jeff Cook touched base with Mr. Mayfield. And he's going to come in and talk to us about ransomware. So it's basically what we need to do is just
You mean insurance for it?
legal permission to move forward with the ordinance.
Any questions from the present council members? Tom, do you have any questions on this?
I'm ready to bring Steve Austin in because I can't figure out exactly what's going on with our emails.
Okay.
And I think that anything that we can do as far as the ransomware, either with either one of our two insurance carriers is probably best. I don't know when legal counsel thinks that they can get a ordinance done, and I also don't know when the council thinks that we need to bring Steve Austin in. But probably the sooner the better, in my opinion.
Okay. It's a very important topic. If you haven't read, Madison County suffered ransomware and they locked the entire town, all their records. The FBI basically said you're on your own. They, as a collective body of elected officials, tried to get the clerk treasurer to go ahead and pay so they get the records. The problem was that a clerk cannot aid a criminal. So they had to go to the court, all while the time is ticking on the ransomware before everything was destroyed. So, and then they had to go on to pay for all new servers and all that fun stuff. So it's here. We've heard about it. So we need to give, hopefully, legal the A-OK to get this ordinance done ASAP, and also to bring our IT provider, Steve Oshman, in to educate us all a little bit more. So everybody's nodding their head. For a clean record, I'll entertain a motion for legal to proceed with drafting the ordinance for this.
Make a motion for legal to proceed with drafting an ordinance on the ransomware cyber attacks.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Councilmember Cook?
Aye.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Sweeney?
Aye.
Councilmember Worthen?
Aye.
And I am aye as well. And I believe, Shane, you're the liaison for IT. Can you contact Steve to see
Sure.
if he can come in our next meeting?
You want to try it the last meeting of the year? I can try.
Sooner rather than later on this?
Sure.
Thank you. Legal, you're...
Yeah, I have a question. So, in order to complete the document that I can do that, that's certainly fine. I just need to know who you want to designate. The council needs to tell me who, in fact, you want to designate as the primary contact and the secondary contact. I don't want to leave those blank,
Yeah, I
and
think,
then you have to decide later.
I think we take clerk treasurer's suggestion, making our IPT provider and the clerk treasurer first and second. Do you need that in the form of a motion? Or just a consensus?
Can we put those in there by title and not by name?
Yes.
Yes. So the IT provider and the clerk treasurer?
Yes.
Okay. If this does have to be done by resolution, then that means we have to put a public notice in before the 11th. And if you want to get it done by the end of the year, you'd have to suspend the rules to vote in just one reading of it on the 21st. If it's a resolution, then it can be done in just one reading. I will
ask one
confirm.
question regarding who's on there. When I was president last year, I had to do some things with the state office, the information.
Technology?
Yeah. Should the president be on there too, of the council?
So I'm reading the state's website, and it says the organization can provide multiple contacts as long as they're authorized to report incidents. So I think that you can designate 3 if you want. I mean, it's however many you want, as long as you guys decide who you want that to be.
It was regarding switching IT providers. That's when I had to.
Well, this is specifically to report a cyber incident
Right.
only. So that's up to you guys if you'd also like the council president to have the authority to be able to report that.
Do you think that's necessary, or?
Do I?
Well, I'm asking anyone on the.
If you're asking me, the more layers, the better.
The more, the better.
Yeah, I think 3 is probably far sufficient, but that's up to Jeff.
I would agree with that. I mean, if we can't get a hold of the clerk or our IT, then, another layer would be good, and the president would be fit for that. One more thing, do you want Dean Mayfield at this next meeting also to discuss a policy for the town, or no?
If we could get everybody.
Tie it all in together? Okay, I'll work on it.
Greg?
Quicker we can jump on it, and, the more people involved, I think the better.
Tom, I didn't know if you heard that discussion, but adding a Councilmember Williams brought up bringing a 3rd layer or a 3rd designee as the council president, lucky you, on the resolution as well. Do you have any comments on that?
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine, because I think we will all be in a panic when it happens, and we'll all want to call at the same time, so I think that's great.
That works.
Okay, I have my information. This will get done.
All righty. Any other discussion on this topic? None? Rezone 4262 East Allison Road.
Hello, my name is Brandon Dove. I just recently purchased the 4262 East Allison Road. It is under business. It is there's a home on it. It is 2 acres. I'd like to rezone that back to residential. Is my plan. The only reason it was business, the church had purchased it from the original owner. It was all one. They parceled it off because they didn't need the house and sold it as business.
So I put the resolution, or excuse me, I put the ordinance before you guys this evening. This was approved, it received a favorable recommendation by Plan Commission at its last meeting.
I'm looking for it.
What ordinance number is this?
It's the resolution. I keep saying that, it's the ordinance. Change from a B1 to an R1.
Does this require any sort of public hearing?
The public hearing was held before Plan Commission.
Okay.
That'll be Exhibit A that's attached behind it.
Gotcha. Gentlemen, it looks to be ordinance 19, 2021. Did get a favorable recommendation. Any discussion or motions on the floor for this?
I would just, this has always been a residence, correct? Did the church use it as a residence? Do you know?
I believe they use it as a residence. They kind of rented it out and they used it as an office, I think, at one point. But they always had a tenant there, I guess.
Living there?
Yes.
Yeah, so it really wasn't altered very much.
No, the office to it, there was a chair in the kitchen. That was all it was, some wires.
Any other discussion or any motions to approve or deny ordinance 19, 2021?
Motion to approve ordinance 19-2021.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second? Second. I have a motion and a second. Councilmember Cook?
Aye.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Sweeney?
Aye.
Councilmember Worthen?
Aye.
And I will be aye as well. Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you for your time. Do you know if there's anything else I need to do with this?
It will be published, and after 30 days, it's law.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Alrighty. Next agenda item is more of a housekeeping. It is nepotism annual certification. This is for council members to sign, and it's kind of a yearly or an annual certification. Diane is basically yelling and screaming for this document. So before you leave tonight, please turn that in to Diane. Anything? You want to yell or scream or do anything? No. Are you sure?
It's this document.
Bring it. All right. Next item is the 2022 salary ordinance 18-2021. Council members, before you, we have the packet that was included. It was brought to my attention that there is what looks to be a clerical error in the clothing allowance for police officers. It should be a little higher, it looks like, according to Gateway. Check with legal, we can go ahead and, as this is first reading, pass it, and then it always come back to amend it before our second.
You don't take any action tonight. There's no passing, and this is just first reading, it's introduction for you to discuss. That's why you can make changes, is because you actually have the public hearing and vote at the next meeting.
Any discussion on this ordinance?
I have one for our chief. Were you satisfied with that correction? Was everything else okay?
We had a discussion about salary for detectives, and we're going to discuss that following.
Okay.
besides the one that, yes, there is some discussion to be had about that one, but the clothing allowance, it looks like gateway to this, there is a clerical error.
Okay.
Councilmember Williams?
Have department heads had a chance to review their sections just for accuracy?
I was able to review what we sent you this.
And it was all right?
Yeah.
And it's fine.
Anything further?
No.
Councilmember Sweeney, any questions? Councilmember Worthen, any questions, comments, concerns about the ordinance?
No, I think that our department head came in with, this will come out somewhere of an average between some ask for less, some ask for more. It comes out to right around $3,000 per person per full-time employee. And I'm proud to say that that's as much as a council has been able to give in a long time. So I think we're doing something right.
Could I ask a question, even though it's past my time or whatever? Last year, under the police department, it said paid from general fund and lit, public safety lit. This year, it's general fund only. That's accurate, correct? If you look under section 1,
Asking me?
Kind of everybody.
I'm just,
Yeah. So, under section 1, the police department,
if you look, I don't know if you have last year's ordinance in front of you or not, but
Tom, did you hear that question?
I did not.
Councilmember Williams, last year said, and it is just section 1 that's the concern?
yeah, under the police and under the police department.
Under the police department, it said general fund and lit. This year is just general fund. Is that correct?
I think what they did is, because there was troubles moving the money around, what I think that they did is they moved benefits over to the lit and moved the salaries back into the general fund. It kind of washed out, but that way it's easier for to move the funding from the local optional income tax for public safety as $1 amount rather than trying to move it every payroll.
So it is correct under just general fund, Rez?
For the salaries, yes.
Okay.
That's all, sorry.
No, you're fine. All righty, as this is first reading, no actions to be taken. Let's take this under advisement. We'll work with Chief on the concerns and come back our next meeting.
And this is available for the public to look at, correct, if they want?
It's on Gateway.
Public access request.
So if you want to see it, you're able to see this.
They are posted on our website at mooresville.in.gov. If you go to online services, all of our ordinances and resolutions are posted on our website as well.
Any other discussion? Moving on. Transfer funds, Resolution 31, 2021. This is our matching grant. We move MVH to cover our matching portion. This is, again, Resolution 31-2021. Any discussions, any questions on this?
That's when it is the MVH restricted.
MVH restricted, sorry. Hearing none, entertain a motion to approve, deny Resolution 31-2021.
Motion to approve Resolution 31-2021.
A motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Councilmember Cook?
Aye.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Sweeney?
Aye.
Councilmember Worthen?
Aye.
And I am aye as well. Motion passes. Department head reports. Johnny on the spot.
I was pretty anxious. So a week ago, I had a meeting in my office with the owners of Finmar Properties. They own the building at 1 and 3 East Main. They come in and request a demolition permit. We met on site. It looks like they're hired a very competent demolition crew from Martinsville to LaFerrys. This is what they do. They're very good. We discussed protecting the town's sidewalks. So that's kind of a pretty hot button topic for the members of the citizens. Finmar Properties and the demolition crew are here tonight to answer any questions. I did meet with the other department heads. We're coming up with an action plan to protect the citizens, the infrastructure. So if you have any questions, I can answer them, or I can call up the representatives from the two companies.
Will kind of an overview be available to look at as far as any kind of traffic rerouting or anything like that?
Right, so they did obtain a street closure permit. I met with Chief Julian, Chief Dalton. Provided the council approves that permit tonight, we're going to meet tomorrow with maps and come up with a plan, and then we'll be able to get that out to you tomorrow afternoon. He does have a street closure permit in his hand. He has met with the two other chiefs. And
total?
Pardon?
Will it be a total?
We are looking at a hard shutdown of Main and Indiana Street while the bricks are falling, yes. He's not able to get a firm date on when Vectren will remove the gas service there. I think that is what is making it tentative for when we shut down the streets.
Can we approve a street closure permit tentative, like based on the recommendation of, is if we don't have an actual date, we don't have a date to approve, you know?
You can make a motion to give him the authority to approve it.
Okay. Dave, what efforts will be taken to notify building owners who are affected by the closures or adjacent building owners who are worried about the structure of their own buildings?
I believe there has been some contact made with a couple of the building owners. I don't know about all of them, but I will meet with them. There you go. Oh, you want to come up?
Questions?
I think Councilman Williams' question was, have you made contact with the other building owners down there?
Last week I spoke with Pete Majeski. We talked quite a bit, going to be back in touch with him. He was basically just asking for when the streets were going to be closed so he could notify all of his people, and he was just going to simply work out of the house.
Okay.
That's about the only one that we've talked to at this point. As far as 5 East, our buildings aren't connected I don't see any problems with that at all.
There's actual space between them.
4 inches between them.
That's good. Beth, do you know what he's talking about here? It's a historic building that's tornado damage. Okay. Should the town require any sort of documentation on insurance, since it's an odd situation because it's adjacent to our property, but it's,
Not anything more than we normally do.
okay.
So if we traditionally require some sort of production of that to be named, wow, it just escaped me, when you are added to an insurance policy.
A named insured or?
Yeah, if you're added as a named insured, we
Additional
traditionally
insured.
do that with orders for demolition or permits for demolition, but if we don't, then this would be no exception.
Because our street lights are there, our flower bed, whatever, it's right there.
Right, if they cause damage, they're responsible for that. No different than.
Demo contractor, I have a certificate of insurance, so.
Yeah. Okay.
Are going to be set hours? I might have missed it. When the road's going to be closed? How long?
Yeah.
We talked with Mr. Faraday and Jake Robinson. When they were working on demoing the second floor, it will be a complete street closure until they get that finished on what we kind of stuff. And correct me if I'm wrong, once they get to the first floor, they will be able to push back more towards the building, that demolition, and we can open up more roads. Is that correct, Steve? Yes.
We'll have to take the top floor off out of manholes. That's what we have to do. Because there's no way for any of the equipment and keep the other buildings. As soon as we get it down to the second floor, I won't put it on there.
I know, talking with Jake Robinson, my understanding with him and everything like that, we just need to get a set decision tonight of who's going to make contact, because the collapse zone, we're looking at least 36 feet with that building being that high. So we're looking at it all the way across the street in Indiana. All that stuff. We got the businesses there for their safety and stuff like that. So we need to look who's going to make contact with those businesses. It's going to be company, you guys, the next communication, because this is going to be coming down.
Yeah, I think we need to be real careful and make sure we contact these people, even if they're not having to leave their buildings, but just for the inconvenience of closing the road. And I don't know who does that, if it's us or the contractor, but just want to make sure that they're notified,
It's going to be, I'll be more than happy to do it. but
How long?
1.5.
When we have for sure closure dates.
Yeah,
So we're at the mercy of the gas company and IPL.
Right.
So until we for sure get that going.
did you say it was 1.5 days, or what did I hear you say?
What's that?
Did you say something about how long it would take to take it down? I thought I heard you say something, I misheard you, I guess.
That'd be next question over here.
If you, yeah, come up.
I think he said when he has dates.
Oh, when he has dates, I heard 1.5 days.
Yeah.
So,
We hope to have the second structure off within 5 days. That's our hopes. Because there's going to be a lot of handwork over the State Farm Insurance Agency building, and the wall that's facing Indiana. Yeah. So, once we get that corner off, then we should be pretty good, because there is a space between the two buildings, and that should come down pretty quick.
All right. The top floor is going to have to come off brick by hand, so that'll probably take 5 days.
there's a big beam up there. Do you have to cut it out? How do you?
We'll have one of our crane trucks holding it the whole time.
I'm just gonna ask.
Steve, are you gonna go door to door with?
Are you own the building, right? Okay, I thought, I couldn't tell because of the mask. Do you have any questions while you're here?
Yeah, my biggest concern is that my building was never meant to be the outside wall. So waterproofing, resurfacing, I'm not sure who's responsible for what there. Or my insurance company needs to talk to their insurance company. I don't know what we're gonna see when we see the outside of that wall, because it was never meant to be on the outside.
Sir, real quick,
Yes, sir.
what was your name?
My name's Carl LaFerry.
We got it. Your name?
Lori Bennett.
What was it?
Lori Bennett.
Okay. Unfortunately, that question is not really for the town, so you.
Basically, my insurance company just asked me to get the name of their insurance company, so they can do that.
Well, there you go. It sounds like there's your point of contact.
Are you requesting the demo company or ours?
Whoever has the insurance, I guess the demo company, whoever has the insurance for this demo work.
But your building is not connected, so unless we damage your building, that would be the only time you will need our insurance. Okay, that'd be us, and we can talk away from.
Any other questions from the council?
After your workday's done, when you get things stabilized for that day, will the road be back open or will it be closed?
We'd like to open the road every
Evening.
night. That is our intent, is to open the road every night. We might have to leave it shut down one night while we're on the corner. That's facing Indiana Street. But, we'll have equipment sitting there. I mean, we'll try to get it as quick as we can.
I will have extra patrol.
David, he is gonna have a lot of equipment sitting there. We're probably gonna need them parking places. I don't know if they're gonna stick out into those lanes at night if that road's open.
I have a question. Both of us have a question.
Come on,
You're saying it's gonna take 5 days for that top floor to be demolished. From what I gather from Chief Dalton, it's gonna have to stay closed 24/7 until you get that second floor off.
Are you guys gonna shore it up or something?
That we don't need to.
Once it's away from the corner of Indiana Street, we'll be able to open it.
The wall that be staying straight up.
We're gonna work both walls at the same time. We're gonna work the two damaged walls, the one towards the State Farm Insurance Agency and the one on Indiana Street. We're gonna work both those walls at the same time.
For 5 days.
Well, we hope to have that done within
I wanted
a
this.
day and a half to where the street can be opened back up of a night.
So once those walls are done.
Once those walls are done, our plan is to open the street.
Okay.
Yes,
We
of
missed-
a night.
Right. We misunderstood you back here.
Yeah.
We were back here discussing it.
No, that's. Better at running the excavator than I am talking to people.
But David, if we need, he's gonna have 80-foot, 100-foot man lifts.
We've got an 80-foot and we've got a 120-foot.
They're not gonna fit in our alley. They're gonna have to probably sit in these parking places. Now, we can tape it off at night, we still have our construction fencing, it's whatever you guys want us to do.
Yeah, we'll have to barricade off those, well, you'll leave them in the spots overnight, correct?
Correct.
That's fine.
Okay.
We'll make sure they're reflective on the corners.
Okay. And our plan for your sidewalk, we're gonna bring in sand. We're gonna put rubber matting down, Visqueen. We're gonna dump 2 loads of sand over your sidewalk, and then we're gonna steel plate with road plates over top of your sand, or over top of your sidewalk.
Can't guarantee nothing's gonna happen.
They'll
but
remain closed the
We're
entire
taking
time.
every step that we can.
Sidewalks will remain closed the entire time.
Sidewalks will remain closed the entire time. Yes, ma'am. I mean, we're gonna try to do everything we can.
Any further discussion on this? Any questions?
I think we established Dave is going to go to the surrounding businesses with the demolition crew, explaining what's going on, right, Dave? Or Darren, that's fine.
Perfect. Tom, did you have anything?
Nope, I'm good. Do we need to give Dave the authority?
Sounds like we probably do need to give Dave the authority to move forward with the street close, or the building permit, or
You have the permit?
street permit.
Yes, street closing permit.
I don't have that. I've got a demo permit. Did you get that?
Yes. Yeah, he has it. It's street closing permit. You both sign.
Yeah, Steve was last one to have it.
What's that? You can,
I don't have it with me, but yeah, we have it.
go ahead.
Yeah, we signed it.
So they've all signed off. We're just looking for a motion to give Dave
Where's
the
the
authority
permit?
to.
It hasn't been issued yet.
Demo permit?
Oh, I thought you meant the
The street closure permit.
Well, we're still waiting on Vectren and IPL to give us a date that they will cut the services, so we'll have a date to put on the permit.
So you haven't filled it out?
Yeah.
Yes.
So where is the physical permit?
So the date that all we're waiting on is the date from the utilities to give it, so you can.
Go ahead.
It hadn't been issued yet, you just filled it out.
The permit's a piece of paper that has the sign offs.
Yeah, that's, I've said
Everybody
that
signed it.
10 minutes ago.
Yeah, I think it's on the
30 seconds.
I'm not gonna vote on it unless I can see it. I want the permit. Okay. What were you gonna say?
Hey, Dave, you got another permit in case you don't have it.
Environmental issues that need to be addressed, such as lead paint.
Right here, they can sign it, right?
We should ask the
building
contractor stepped out, so he'd be the one to ask that, I think. What about the lead, she said, what about lead paint? Things like environmental hazards or risks? Do they mitigate that when they take it down?
We don't have any stipulations on that on our permit process for demo. So it would be ultimately in construction companies.
Do you care if we go ahead and move on for another department head? Do you guys have anything? Make something up to kill time. Well, I guess we sit here and wait.
I mean, this has already been approved, it's just a matter of you guys signing it.
You want to go down and just...
Yeah.
Gentlemen, can we, since there's no other department heads, we'll come back. Do you care if we go ahead to legal to move this forward? At the last meeting, we went ahead and approved the budgetary process. We just need to approve Resolution 30, 2021. Any discussion or motions for this?
So basically, we do need to vote on this, because we voted to approve
You
it.
voted to approve it at your last meeting.
I don't know.
Pending that changes were made by legal.
Yeah,
These are those changes.
I mean, I can make the motion to,
I don't think you need to vote again. I think you just need to sign it.
okay, that's what I think too, but
Holy grail. Make sure.
Do you want to see it, Jeff?
I'm creating a packet.
We voting on this or what we got?
I don't know. Do you want a motion to reapprove this, or is it just a waste of, you
Budgetary
recommend we
process
don't?
policy,
Yeah.
you've already voted to approve
Okay.
it. It was just pending my changes, and I made the changes requested, so.
So are you going to send a copy down for us to sign?
I have a whole plethora of things for
Okay.
everybody to sign.
Yeah.
Moving back up to this, do we want to approve the street closure without a date and authorize Dave to fill that in? How do we want to proceed?
That's what, I would make a motion to approve the street closure permit with Dave as the authority to fill in the dates as needed, along with the public safety officials' approval for the whole process.
Notify the businesses. I have a motion. Do I have a second? I have a motion and a second. Councilmember Cook?
Aye.
Councilmember Williams?
Aye.
Councilmember Sweeney? Aye. Councilmember Worthen?
Aye.
And I will be aye as well. Motion passes.
Virginia raised a really good question about any hazardous material in the building. You guys do a study on that, or on the,
Most of the inside of the building has already been gutted. There's nothing inside the building. We won't be doing any grinding or sanding. It all goes to an IDM approved landfill.
when you guys were working in there, did you do anything as far as?
No, I mean, we didn't really see any evidence of lead or anything like that.
Yeah. Asbestos or anything?
We took load after load out of there to the transfer station there in Belleville, so. Yeah,
They pretty much gutted it. Yeah.
Any
Thanks
other
for-
discussion.
Thank you.
Thanks for getting that permit.
I'm glad I had it.
I am too.
Take a step inside, door the office.
Good luck.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Legal has nothing further, so public comments.
Hi, Council. My name is Braxton Hughes. I live at 6600 East Aberdeen Court, Canby, Indiana, Morgan County. I was a little disappointed to see that there was no continued discussion of the K-9 program that everybody seemed so eager to say that they're for and then vote down. So I thought it might be interesting to know, I know why these two voted the way they did, but to find out why other council members last meeting voted against it. Again, we know why Mr. Cook did. We know why Mr. Williams voted for it. I would think it's should be public knowledge why you guys voted against it. So, Mr. Stanley, can you give the public an idea of why you voted
Sure.
against it?
I don't know if you recall, Mr. Hughes, that I asked for an SOP, and you're incorrect. There actually has been discussions.
Okay, so the SOP, I was there for one of the two meetings. I was there for when the SOP was passed.
Mhm.
Did you know about that being passed, or?
Yes.
Okay, so why are we questioning the SOP now? I mean, again, I don't have any preference on why the SOP, what it has in it. I've not even read it. I have to fill out a FOIA for it. I don't care what the SOP says, right? What I care about is the due diligence of this council. So when something is passed, now we have issues with the SOP. So I'm just curious why we now have issues, why you're saying we now have issues when there's two meetings regarding it.
Because the chief asked me to
Okay.
give input. So I
You
gave
had no input before that? No,
I'm not on the police commission,
Okay.
and I was not a part of this discussion
Okay.
until it came such a big issue. There was no prior SOP, it was a directive.
Correct, yeah.
So
yeah.
when a SOP was passed and I was asked for input, I readily gave that input to the chief.
So are you guys not allowed to give any input beforehand at all then on SOP or what you guys
Police departments
require?
report to the police commission.
Yep.
And then subsequently, we have liaisons to give them direction.
Okay.
So that's where it is right now.
How many weeks ago was it that SOP was passed?
I don't recall when October, maybe?
It's December.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, all right, just to make sure. Mr. Swinney, can you give an idea of why you decided to vote against it? Or, in our emails back and forth, you seemed very for it, and so I was just a little shocked to see.
I want to make sure that, everything's.
Well, what part
Sure,
was not on the up and up, or as far as your discovery that you found was not part of the up and up to get this passed before the end of the year?
I think did we move it?
No, I didn't ask what, I'm just asking you, I'm just curious. I'm just trying to get individual perspectives, because very little discussion went into it. One person took the meeting to get this thing passed. Everyone I speak to in this community is absolutely shocked that this hasn't gotten done. More shocked that it's not on a meeting minutes for this meeting. So, Mr. Worthen, can you answer that question as well, since you were the other one that voted against it, please?
I apologize. I heard part of what you said. I thought we were waiting on some directives from the police commission and the change in the SOP. I think Jeff Cook made his questions pretty to the point as far as the seniority of the officer. And I thought that we were waiting on some changes on that. I thought our police department was working with Jeff on that.
Working with, I'm sorry, I missed that last part.
Yeah.
Okay. So we would really like to see this on a meeting again very, very soon. I think public information on this has been really mixed. I think my first meeting here was, I literally came to say a retired police dog deserves some compensation in his post care to make sure that we're not burdening police officers. I didn't expect for this to be my third meeting. I don't want to be here. I've got a 2.5-year-old. Like, I work up in Anderson every day. Like, I don't have time for this, but I'm here again. So we would really, really like to see some type of action taken on this, at least some acknowledgement. Like I said, the last meeting was really disappointing to know that, I believe that Councilman Williams voted the way he did because he took that meeting with us, and so I appreciate that. I will ask, Mr. Williams, the way that that meeting was characterized by Councilman Cook as being led by a police officer's wife, would you characterize that meeting that way?
I personally was in the meeting. I was asked to attend by, I think you.
Yep.
The police chief was there.
Yep.
The the size canine officer was there.
Yep.
Size, the retired canine.
Yep.
His wife. So.
Would you characterize it as led by a police officer's wife? Because that's what was said in the last meeting.
I wouldn't characterize it as led by her. I think she had input.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, and
everybody-
I don't think there's any denial of that. So, has your wife ever done anything with the canine department or anything involving canine handling?
My wife?
Correct, yeah.
We have a Shih Tzu and a Maltese, but other than that, no.
Okay. And I believe, and he's busy right now, but I believe Chief Julian's wife has never had any involvement in canine stuff either. I found it really interesting that the email from Mr. Cook brought both of those people into the discussion when having an issue with Casey Schultz being at that meeting. So I don't understand what the hostility is towards this program. It's been councils and councils and councils that haven't, that have had stuff brought to them and not gotten an SOP passed or funded the program. I get that getting the SOP tweaked is important. I fully agree with that. There's if you guys have issues with it, that is what it is. But I also think that when we go into it saying, hey, we're going to fund this program, and then after a 4-1 no vote, and then there's nothing communicating to the community what the next plan is, I just think that's in poor taste, unfortunately. So,
Can I correct one thing
That's
that
fine,
you're
yeah,
saying?
I love that, yeah.
Not to be argumentative.
No, please.
And I never defend these guys, and I stand behind what I did in my vote. But it wasn't a 4-1 no vote. The motion died to a lack of second, so they didn't vote for or against it.
I heard no, I mean, we went through a roll, did we not?
No, so at least according to the minutes, and I wasn't the attorney that was here, he's correct, that Councilman Williams made a motion to move forward.
And so we just didn't get a second?
Yeah, I didn't get the
And it
second.
died for a lack of second.
Okay.
So the responsibility would actually be on the police chief. I would encourage you to talk to the police chief to have it put on the next agenda.
And that's fine. I think to not get a second speaks even more volumes than what I just said. That not a single one of you would step up and second that. Again, when the meeting was offered to all, I don't think there's that much confusion in this. So that there is feels a lot more like politics than it does like protecting the community. So.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. Any other public comments?
He doesn't even live here.
Which Williams?
Hi, I'm Rebecca Williams, 400 Northridge Drive, Mooresville. And yes, Councilman Williams is my husband. I actually just wanted to come up and thank the town. So just kind of a positive kudos, especially to Dave Moore of our street department and both our fire and police chief, just for helping and being a part of the Victorian Christmas experience. I've just noticed this year that there was a real step up in being a part of a community event, and I think it went spectacularly. And thanks for all your hard work on Santa's house. I think that really added a dimension this year. So, I just hope the town will continue to play a part with its citizens. And as someone on the executive committee for the bicentennial, Mooresville Bicentennial celebration, I look forward to working with you guys in the future. So thank you.
I thought I was going to get yelled at, but
Do you have your Christmas shopping done? Because Amazon just got hacked and it's going to delay shipping past Christmas.
Oh no.
I'll yell at you, Shane.
Okay.
I'm Kimberly Schofield. I live at 47 West South Street. I just had a question. I've just been curious about why we don't have a mayor. I'm just curious about it. And why the whole town manager thing coming up just kind of reignited that question I had, because it seems like our population has grown to warrant a mayor. So I'm kind of wondering why we're not going through an electoral process to get a mayor, and we're thinking about hiring a town manager that's not part of our, at least, county. So
That's a fun legal question.
So you can't have a mayor unless you're a city.
Yeah.
So Mooresville would have to convert to a city in order to have an election to be a
Yes,
mayor.
I understand that part.
Then that's the answer. You can't have a mayor here because you're not a city. The only administrative person that you can have that would report to the council would be a town manager. That's state law.
They would have to get it put on a ballot for an election question,
To
correct?
convert to a city?
Yeah.
Yes. And I don't know if you statutorily meet the requirements. That's not something I've looked into to know whether or not Mooresville could be converted to a city. No one up here has asked me to research that yet, but that's the answer of why A mayor
Yeah,
is
see,
not
that's what I'm
being
wondering
vetted.
about our census count.
They haven't come out with the new.
Yeah, I used to live in a town that became a city.
Okay, yeah,
So-
we don't have census numbers to even look at yet. They've been delayed. So,
The public would have to vote on it. I don't think the council could not convert us without public,
No.
without the public actually voting on it like at election time. It'd be a ballot question.
So is that
And
why
the
we're-
question would be, do you want to be a city, basically?
Yeah. I don't know I don't know the statutory requirements at this point.
Yeah, I
It's-
don't
it's-
either. I
I can easily find it if the council would be interested in wanting to know that. But that's why they're exploring the opportunity of a town manager, because that's their only viable option under the law.
I see. Okay. Yeah, thanks, you guys.
any other public comments? Seeing none, need a motion for approval of claims.
Motion to approve claims in the amount of $951,633.62.
I have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Councilmember Cook.
Aye.
Councilmember Williams.
Aye.
Councilmember Sweeney.
Aye.
Councilmember Worthen.
Aye.
And I will be aye as well. Just for information, the reason the claims are a little bit higher than normal, we have the street sweeper at $199,000 and the pipe, what I call rhino lighting, at almost $140,000. So those were in there as well. Town council comments.
Yes, I do have some to follow up on the comments on the canine. When we let citizens approach the podium here that don't even live in town, they don't know what they're talking about. This board has never been more proactive for public safety than this board. All right, and that was top priority when I ran, when these other members ran. We are in the process of getting a canine if it's done and done correctly. We've ran a canine program in the past that was strictly on donated funds. We had no line item for it, no budget, nothing. Everything we had was donated, and that program was not very good. I seen it, I was a part of it, I watched it from the first dog until our last dog. I'm passionate about it. We're gonna get a good dog. It's gonna be the best, and we're gonna pay for it. Taxpayers are paying for it if it's done right. The days of running around with our hands out, everybody wanting a free ride for their pet is done as far as I'm concerned. It's going to be the responsibility of this board. We'll approve it if it's done right, and we're in the process. I've had a meeting not long ago with Chief Julian. We've recognized some problems with that. It's going to be readdressed, and if it's readdressed, it'll be brought back to this board to be done right. So that's a more accurate statement. That's all I've got.
Councilmember Williams.
I think I'm good for tonight. Oh, hey, thanks for the Victorian Christmas. It was really, really nice. Thanks to all the sponsors out there, people who participated, and the organizers and the, volunteers. It went really well. And the town employees who helped put it on. Oh, one other thing, I'd also like to thank Dave Moore. He didn't get a lot of credit when the town received the Community Crossings grant a few weeks ago. But he is instrumental in getting that done, and I think it was $994,000 and some odd dollars. And he's gotten those with Banning Engineering's help for several years now, and he goes around and picks the streets and makes sure it's done right. And then Julie Soplanda, correct, administers that after the fact. She reports back to the state on making sure that the streets are correctly done and that the grant was followed and all of that stuff. So I think they deserve some credit. Banning deserves some credit, and we voted for it, but that was kind of the least part of that process, and it's been going on for quite some time. We've gotten a lot of streets paved because of that work. So thank you, and thanks for Victorian Christmas too.
Councilmember Sweeney.
Wanted to comment on the Victorian Christmas. My wife and I spent probably 2.5 or 3 hours there, and I thought it was one of the best ones we've ever had. I thought it was really enjoyable. So kudos to everybody involved.
Councilmember Worthen.
Nothing at this time. Thank you very much.
And I have nothing as well. Our next meeting date is December 21st, 2021, 6:30 here. Need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Jeff Cook.
Aye.
Shane Williams.
Aye.
Greg Sweeney.
Aye.
Tom Worthen.
Aye.
And I, Dustin Stanley, vote aye. We are adjourned. Thank you.
Next meeting's actually gonna be at
See
2
you
o'clock.
later. LP, hung up.
Next meeting's actually at 2 o'clock.
Oh. Well,
Berwick, whatever his last name,
Dave, appreciate it, Ron.
office insurance. So I don't know how it works. I don't know who gets
Yeah, I gotta sign
money
it.
that goes for insurance that he has himself, or he's on the town's insurance, but somehow we have to make sure that we don't stop his insurance.
Good. Still dealing with morons.
All right, that's good to know.
Crazy.
Yeah, I don't know whatever behind the scenes magic you have to try to pull in order to make that work, but.
Okay.
Some data fixes that are going to have to be
Yeah.
edited.
Well, and it's also.
Yeah, we had a good meeting.
wait a minute.
A lot of stuff. My big thing, you know what I say?
Hi.
You know, I just hate that we.
Oh, you're asking the attorney for a comment? I'm not sure that's gonna work. Oh, my name?
If not more.
First or last?
Get
BETH?
the first dog and then first dog start things.
Yeah.
It'll be a good one.
I think he still signs it.
Can be done. All right, no problem.
Is that really your only issue, is that I don't?
Easy. I didn't have to say no
Issue with
comment.
you.
County, so
I don't,
if this was
are you
Martinsville,
doing this fighting, are you doing this in Martinsville?
Do they have a funded canine
You tell
program?
me.
Do they have a funded canine?
You tell me.
You tell me.
You tell me.
They do.
I worry about
They
Mooresville.
do. Yeah, right, exactly.
You're good, man.
Is that really the best you can converse with me?
I'm not conversing.
Oh, that's, yeah, all right. Hey, appreciate it, Judge. You're good at what you do, man. Excuse me?
I said, keep your emails up. You don't respond to them anyways. Yeah, I got one.
You've had more than one, and that's not accurate. That's not accurate.
Jared,
And you couldn't even.
the good squad, we got more on Facebook.